My feeling today, we're going to win the Premier League. Today, if you ask me, we're going to win the Premier League. If we play in the level, so Liverpool and Tottenham, we are going to win it again. The people don't believe it already for 3 draws. But, yeah, we're going to do it again, knowing that it's not easy because no team have done it yet. So that's why the difficulty is there. So it was last season, it was this season, but if you ask me today what you're feeling, we're going to do it again.
3 winless games, Ryan. Chelsea, Liverpool and Spurs. What patterns have we seen across those 3 games that Manchester City have drawn that are coming back up and reoccurring?
Yeah, to me, the overarching pattern is that they kind of got unlucky. In Trent Alexander-Arnold hits a fantastic shot against City in a game that was mostly one-sided, in my opinion. And then there was some good finishing for Tottenham, who didn't threaten much throughout the game. But I think beyond like City dominating games and then just not converting their chances and their opponents converting theirs, which is a really boring way of analyzing the sport, so I'm not going to do that. I think one thing that I've noticed with City is that they do often feel like they take their foot off the gas when they have a lead and they're dominating. They don't tend to go up by 2 goals, or they don't as much as I remember them doing in the past. In the Liverpool game, for example, they dominate, they take the lead, and then they're just unable to kill them off. In the Tottenham game, they go behind, tie the game, take the lead. Then there's a long period of them not creating anything. Then Tottenham eventually ties it. Then they suddenly create a ton of chances, score again, and then they basically don't take another shot for the rest of the game, and then Tottenham ties it. So there is like the success of the team last year was with the team becoming a little more conservative, not pressing as high, not at risk of getting exploited by counterattacks in behind, because it seems like Pep realized that's the only way his teams could ever lose. So he wanted to try to find a way to eliminate that. But in response to that, it requires a kind of more slower pace, conservative style with the ball. And I think at times it leads to kind of these meek periods of them not creating anything against teams that they were fine creating chances against. And then suddenly, you can't control soccer perfectly. And these other teams have talented players. So then they kind of hit you in the mouth, and then suddenly it's tied.
All right. So, Janusz, I want to get to you with Erling Haaland again, because we were talking about the big chances he missed and obviously the goals that he does score last week. And I feel that, this is something that we always put on Darwin Núñez at Liverpool. It's talked about a lot, but I do want to bring back up the Haaland point, because we've got some stats in here. It's 43 big chances missed in the Premier League, 28 last year, 15 so far this year, leading the rankings in both of those instances. Just to put it into context, Harry Kane had 30 big missed chances in his final 2 seasons at Spurs. Is this an issue? Is it more of an issue than City's defence?
No, but I mean, it's always been an issue with me with Haaland. I told you many times he's a great goal scorer in general, but he's not a great player, and that's just that. And I'll never leave that, because he's always going to be on great teams. But I don't want to compare him to Messi, but Ronaldo. If you look at power,
you always be on great teams then if you're not a great player.
You can be a great goal scorer and do very little after that, right? I mean, he's missed a lot of chances. Maybe one day he's going to be scoring every other one, right? But Harry Kane's doing this all the time, right? And as I told you before, I'd rather have Harry Kane than him on that team, because he has that sophistication. There's more to his game. He's young, he may learn, and in the end, everybody's going to have the last laugh at me. But it's not for me to put him down. It's just that it continues every week. Even though we say it, we see how many chances he's got, because that last game against Spurs, if he puts away that chance, and by the way, I do agree with Ryan as well. I mean, that game against Spurs, if he scores that goal, and then you have Doku, who needed to score. I know it looked close, it was a crossbar in a post, and City doesn't. They used to finish games in the first half, very similar game to Liverpool. And they didn't. So now they paid the price a little bit, because their defense is unsettled. And that's clear to see that Pep Guardiola's got to fix that. They've conceded 10 goals recently in all competitions. They have conceded 16. Usually Manchester City, when they're winning, they're the best defense, or second best by a goal, in the olden days with Liverpool, whatever it might have been. Right now, it's not settled. Nobody's playing well in the back, and we don't know what the best formation is in terms of that. So that's their issue. But because they have so much talent, they'll figure it out. Haaland, next game, probably scores a hat trick. is, it's going to be inconsequential to what I say. He's going to continue to score goals. He's going to be the leading scorer, I'm sure, and that's not going to change. But no surprise to me seeing the statistics, right? Because with him, everything is about power. I don't think he's a sophisticated finisher, just like Darwin Núñez, by the way, right? So if you have to compare somebody, I mean, look at Ronaldo, right? I mean, I don't know what his stats were, but pretty similar, where he relied a little bit more on his pace and strength, but there was that extra sophistication. So from that standpoint, if somebody pushed me to say, well, how great is he? Messi, forget about it. That's totally different level. But in terms of him and Cristiano, even though he's young, I don't think he ever comes even close to that. Not even. I mean, I don't even remember how many Ronaldo scored, but he can be scoring two a game, and I'll still won't put him even near Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay, so let me get to you on Liverpool, Yanis, because I know we're losing you after Premier League Express today. Obviously, that was an epic game against Fulham. Brilliant goals as well from Liverpool. You were talking about team spirit earlier, and it just feels as though there's so much of a buzz around Liverpool at the moment. Trent's leadership being talked about, Klopp saying, this is one of the best games. In fact, this was the latest Liverpool had ever fallen behind in a Premier League match that they went on to win. What are their title chances? Are they as strong as Arsenal's in challenger terms?
Well, I mean, we should get to that because Pep conveniently in that thing didn't mention the game against Arsenal, did he? If we play like against Liverpool, Manchester City, because we got to give credit to Arsenal, because Arsenal at this moment for me are the best team in the Premier League, by the way, not just because they're top. But you were asking me about Liverpool. Still, they're still looking for the identity. I don't know if it's the one that they used to have or the one that they're trying to create. So I think the position in the table is a little bit better than the project overall. Look, I'll tell you, I like Liverpool much better when they were winning the league or they were in that massive fight year in and year out, 1 point different with Manchester City. When an Anfield, they jumped on teams and it was over in the first 15 minutes. Rather than the team that shows character, which is, by the way, important, and continues to come back after going behind. And at times, like even this game, you kind of say to yourself, well, that's a bit lucky, because it was. I mean, great goals in the end, but my goodness, if you keep doing this, it's not going to look good. So they're still building. I think, if Manchester City continue to give chances to everybody else, Liverpool has the ability to do that, although I worry about Mo Salah leaving for African Cup of Nations. That's obvious why. But, outright, I think they still need the rest of the season. And next year, maybe then we can say, Liverpool are absolutely back.
So not quite yet. Okay, let's talk about Ryan's latest piece. It'll be live today on ESPN FC.